The room is green. You know what that means? We're talking about money. Talking about money. Now I know Pokemon has been going crazy, but Magic the Gathering has been kind of following suit with their latest set, Final Fantasy, which is, as a Magic player, since like, I don't know, 20-ish years ago. God, that makes me feel old. It's painful seeing Final Fantasy in Magic. I don't really like it a whole lot, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting, you know? But anyway, thoughts aside about whether or not Final Fantasy should be Magic the Gathering, the set's crazy. The set has taken off. It is up 40%. It's going for $220 a box. And that's just for the plate booster box. Now, when it comes to the collector booster box, that's just crazy. The collector booster box is at $1,200 basically. $1,200 for some cardboard. Now, I can't fathom who in the world would be buying these. Now, this is not... Okay, let me just quickly tell you what these collector boosters are. The collector boosters are 12 packs of Final Fantasy booster packs with 15 cards. Most of them are I think they're almost all foil. Like, it's like this new type of pack that Magic came out with to just make more money. Just Hasbro said, you know what? Let's charge hundreds of dollars for less packs, and then we'll throw in some like extra special serialized crazy cards in there that are going to be worth a fortune. The craziest, most expensive thing in this set are the Chocobos. I guess there's like a serialized number of them. I'm trying to remember how much that one goes for. I'll have to look that up, put the number on the screen, but just look at these. Just these right here, the traveling Chocobo, then there's the blue one, there's the yellow, blue, pink, green, black. I mean, they went all in on the Chocobos here. And that makes sense, because that is a big part of the Final Fantasy universe. And then, of course, you got the Surge foils, like a specific type of foil. I honestly think these look terrible. They look very boring. Like, you've got the character with, like, the game number behind them. I guess it's, like, a simple look to them, but I don't know. I don't like them a whole lot. There are very expensive cards in this set. But it's crazy to me that people would pay $1,200 for the chance to get a super expensive card when you can be spending, if we're looking at the Pokemon equivalent, I think Prismatic Evolutions is probably the best version of that, where you spend, what, $10 on a booster pack? So let's say there's 15 of those in there. Sorry, there's 12. There's only 12 booster packs in the Final Fantasy thing. So that's $1,200 for the Final Fantasy collector booster box. And then those are like, we'll just say like $10 a piece. I mean, they're on my website. They're $10. You buy 12 of those, you get $120. So $120 for a chance at a God pack worth like $2,000, or $1,200 for a chance at cards worth $2,000 or more, or whatever that golden serialized Chocobo is. I mean, there's only 77 of them. So your likelihood of getting that thing is super, super remote, which is, again, probably why this set's so expensive and why that card is so expensive. But that's still, like, that begs the question, who would spend $1,200 on a lottery ticket? You know what I mean? Like, that is crazy to me. I mean, if you bought these way back when they were, I mean, $600. I can't even imagine investing $600 into a box. One 12 booster box. One 12-pack booster box. $600. That's just a massive bet on a product you hope goes up. And I know it's Final Fantasy. I'm sure people knew this was going to happen, but, like, doubling is crazy. It's absolutely crazy that it did that. And then for the booster box itself, I mean, I was at a low at 144. I could see myself thinking of purchasing some booster boxes around that point, and now it's up to 222. So just crazy numbers we're seeing with this. Now, because of this happening, people are thinking that this will bleed over into the next set, and the next set is going to be another big one. It's going to be like Pokemon, where when Pokemon exploded, suddenly everything was hard to find, and now everything goes up. All ships float when Pokemon goes up. And we saw that with Pokemon. However, is Pokemon investing dead? Is Magic the way to go? Well, let's take a look at some older sets. And I want to show you guys what I'm talking about here. So let's just go through this together because, all right, we've got Final Fantasy. It's going crazy. We got Final Fantasy going crazy. Now let's look at the set that came out right before Final Fantasy. Let's see how that's doing. Okay, well, that is not like Pokemon at all. Yeah, so this is not quite doing what people are saying. It's not like you invest in any booster box and suddenly it just goes up because Final Fantasy is. So yeah, Tarkir Dragonstorm not a set people really liked, and because of that, we're kind of seeing that reflected in the pricing. Aether Drift, another set people don't really like. I think it's stupid. As a Magic player for this long, like for most of my life, or at least being involved in Magic in some way for most of my life, I hate this set because it's stupid. It's like Mad Max, but in Magic now. Like, and that's so dumb to me. I hated the theme. I feel like most people do, and that is reflected in the price. Look at that. It's $88. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, now it's time to buy the dip. It's now time to buy the dip. Look at how low it is. It's under $100 a box. Now is the time to buy the dip. Well, another shitty set that came out in 2013. This is 12 years ago, okay? This sold for $100 a box. Now, you're looking at this right here. Ignore this, okay? Like, I understand it is going up now, and I honestly don't know why. I cannot find the answer for the life of me online. If you know, put it in the comments down below, but it makes absolutely no sense why this set would ever go up in value, especially considering the most expensive card in it is worth $3.73. $3. Now, this is crazy to me. That $3, really? That's the most expensive card in the set? Yeah, apparently it is. Maybe there's some other card I'm missing, but if we're talking about just regular, I guess we'll look at foil. Maybe it's worth $7 at foil. Oh my god. This is a terrible set. I hate this set. This is the set that made me essentially stop buying booster boxes. And I was like at my peak hype for Magic because there was the Ravnica block, and if you don't know anything about Magic anyway, Ravnica was a great set. The second set was good, and then the set sucked, and it was supposed to be the like end of the trilogy of sets, and it was just garbage, and I hated it, and the cards were weak, and the draft play was terrible. It was a terrible set. This released 13 years ago, or 12 years ago, and until recently it was only $98. So that means if you bought booster boxes of this for $100 12 years ago, congratulations, you have lost $2 a box. Now, I'm sure there was a time where this plummeted in value because I hate this set, everybody hates this set, and I'm sure you could have gotten it for like $75, and maybe you would have gotten a little bit of a return at some point. But the fact that it's held on until this year, finally going up, it's up 17% from $100. That's market price $117. It says most recent sale $128. I don't know who is paying $128 for this set. It is terrible. I hate this set. I don't understand. I don't get it. I think maybe just because people sold a bunch and then that drove interest again. I don't understand why anybody would buy this booster box, and this just shows you can't just buy a Magic booster box and expect it to go up, unfortunately. Now, with most Pokemon sets, the same thing can't be said. I mean, Pokemon Scarlet Violet base set was deemed pretty much worthless when it came out. People hated it. Let's just look it up real quick. Scarlet Violet base. Oh, okay, I can't just do base. Booster box, please. Boom. All right. What are we at? What are we at? Okay, so it had... Wow, that spiked even more than I thought. But, I mean, look at how much people hated this. The lowest was $73. $73. Now, the market price, $203, and the most recent sale was $210. I mean, if you look at pretty much every single thing in Pokemon right now, they've all gone up. I mean, even Shrouded Fable. Shrouded Fable, I bought a box, or one of these ETBs because it was like, I think it was like $30, something like that. And I'm like, I just think the art looks cool. I knew nothing about Pokemon. This was me jumping into Pokemon, just buying something. And I bought it for like $30. And now I feel like a genius because it's at 65. I had no idea this was going to go up. I never had any intention that this would go up. I was just going to open it. I just left it in my drawer, forgot to open it. And then thankfully I didn't because now it's just going up in value. Everything in Pokemon is going up in value. Same cannot be said for Magic. Let's take a look at... I mean, this is a set that, of course... Again, though, this came out such a long time ago. And until recently, I guess older sets are picking up again. I don't know. To me, it just feels like, yes, some of these super old sets will gain value. But, I mean, this one came out a couple years ago. And not doing great. This was another one, again, like, yes, market was selling for, like... I hate that I only get a year snapshot. That's so frustrating. I need to figure out a way to get a bigger snapshot here. But it was selling for about $100 when these first came out. And then I'm sure it crashed down to some super low thing. So if you bought it during the last crash, maybe. But this is another set that people didn't really like. Whereas Eldritch Moon had wonderful flavor. It was a lot of fun. Was it as much fun as the original Innistrad sets? No. Shadows over Innistrad, another one. Again, but if you look at this, $133. And this is an old set. And this was $100 when it came out. So it would have gone up $30. Like, yes, 30%. But, like, how many years, you know? How many years did it take to do that? And then now it's finally spiking up again. And I don't understand why these spikes are happening. I'm not going to lie. I don't really know what's going on. But you know what? What is interesting, though, is it does seem like the bundles, which are a lot like the ETBs, essentially the same thing. I think better than ETBs in certain ways, but I digress. Look at this. Like, this has gone to like 62 at certain points. It's $60 right now. These sell, or used to sell, for like $40. So, you know, a 33% jump and after just, you know, a couple years. But the draft booster set, you know, that's up 30%, but that's because it crashed down to $70. Like, that's the thing. You look at this number and you're like, oh, wow, that's great. No, people hated this set. If a set is hated, it's hated. Like, that's how it is. With Magic, it really does matter what is in that set. And it needs to have value. It needs to have playability. It needs things that Pokemon doesn't really need. It doesn't need playability with Pokemon. At least that's from what I've seen. Pokemon, they don't care about playability. They care about the art. And that's kind of what drives the value here. I don't know what is happening with these just massive spikes, like this dip and rise, and like someone just was offloading some stuff to sell, and they just wanted to get rid of it. There was 9 that sold for $71 to $72, and that brought the whole market average down. And same with here, somebody sold 84 boxes of these between 75 and 80 just to get rid of them, and now they're up to 84. But again, these sold for if you're to buy them from a store and not from some secondary thing, not if you have a distributor, not from some wholesaler. It was $100. These were $100, and now it's 83. Like, you can't just throw your money at Magic and expect a return. You have to see what's in the set, the reception to the set. Is it fun for people to play? Because that will really dictate the price when it comes to Magic. Again, Crimson Vow, like, yeah, it's up 22%. But I mean, this came out a couple years ago again and stuck around that $100 area. But again, I guess the bundles, like I said, like they will crash down to $40, and I've bought them around there, and there you go, boom, 65. But again, it's in this weird, I don't know what's happening here at this point. We're seeing a lot of different sets do that at that specific point, and I don't really understand why. Like, why did Shadows over Innistrad suddenly do that right here? I've been out of the Magic market for a little bit. I'm kind of slowly getting back into it because I just kind of focused in on Pokemon, and it's very interesting to see how people think they can just jump in and buy whatever and be fine. You can't do that. This weird anomaly with Pokemon. I mean, people talk about the market right now as if it was inevitably going to happen. Like, it was just, this was going to happen. Like, Pokemon was going to explode. I don't necessarily believe that. It's just a lot of people that have been investing for a long time now get to say, look, I was right. Because Pocket TCG came out and Pokemon hit that fever pitch again. And there have been spikes in time where Pokemon catches on in popularity again, and this just happens to be one of those times, and that's affecting Pokemon pack pricing because people that grew up with Pokemon, they had Pokemon cards, now they want to revisit it again, experience the nostalgia. It's just, be careful is all I really want to say, because you could be dumping all of your money into another Dragon's Maze, which maybe one day you'll get lifted out of your bags because it randomly goes up to 117. But again, this set has been out for 12 years. Like, that's terrible return. That's a terrible return. 7% over 12 years. I mean, if you're looking for a safe investment, throw all your money in like T-bonds, because you don't want to just randomly bet without knowing what set you're betting on, because man, if a set is hated, it is hated, and that horrible price will stick around, and that value will not go up. I mean, it can happen. It can certainly happen. There could be a random card that spikes in value, but you're not always going to get lucky. Let's just go into personal stuff. I'll go do that in another video. My random bets. Now, I make low-level bets. I don't go all in very often, and that's, saved me a lot of money, but it's also cost me a lot in potential income and, value. But I want to talk about some of the bets that I've made that have just exponentially paid off in terms of value and collecting. And yeah, I'll do that in a future video, so look forward to that. Of course, let me know in the comments down below if you're thinking about investing in Magic the Gathering. Again, that's great if you want to, but definitely be careful. Don't just throw all your money into one set. A lot of people treat collectibles like Magic, like Pokemon, kind of like the stock market, where they'll invest a bit of money in everything. So people like Rudy, who again is like a multi-millionaire, God knows how much money that guy has, he just buys everything. Now, he's in an interesting position because he has a distributor, and he has that capital that he's made from the bond market and the stock market and all these other investments that he has done over the years, and he's funneled that into investing into Magic and Pokemon over a long period of time, and other trading card games, and not all of those bets have panned out. But, enough. Again, I think this is another video. I'm going too long. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you're thinking about investing in Magic. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fancy freaking day. See you, everybody.